I was super blessed to grow up in the church. My parents actually met while they were both working at the same church, and so I was really modeled to what it looked like to live a comprehensive Christian life. My parents were always super involved with our kids' ministry and wanted us to be involved in what community the Lord had ordained for us. They taught me what it looked like to read the Bible and really spend time with God, and then also to reach out to others and offer that gift of Christ. That upbringing really culminated for me in 7th grade. I went to my first ever fall retreat event as a part of our youth group, and one of the messages there really hung heavy on my heart. Not just living accidentally adjacent to God by life circumstance, but having an intentionally intimate relationship with God, one where you're walking in stride with Him and inviting Him into every day. And as someone who grew up in the church and had always known Christ, that really hit me like a truck. And so I remember during the worship set after that message, really giving my life to Christ fully and asking for the servant leadership that they were talking about. Coming out of that, I felt a conviction and a calling towards ministry, and really, we were super blessed to have a pastoral team at the time that wanted to invest in the youth and anyone who felt called to ministry, and so they talked me through what that looked like. But with that spiritual invitation and gifting also came some challenge in my life. I was entering a pretty tough time in my life. I started to struggle with my mental health a lot more. I started struggling with depression and anxiety, as well as just not finding my place socially. My friends were pretty surface level and they weren't Christians, so they weren't people I could go to with any of these struggles. I started to struggle academically. I failed my first class in 8th grade. And so all of this really started to bubble up. I didn't have a real great faith backbone to fall back on. Those struggles really culminated and bubbled up in my freshman year of high school. And as I looked around and I recognized that these promises that the Lord had made me, I hadn't really engaged with, and I didn't really see coming to fruition, I didn't feel like there was a reason to be around anymore. And so I ended up making a plan to end my life by suicide. I'd set a date in October of 2019. And luckily, I'm here talking to you. The Lord delivered me out of that. He ordained some people in my life to recognize what was happening and bring me out of that space. But instead of responding with thankfulness for what He had done in my life, I had a lot of bitterness and anger for Him ruining my plan for my life and continuously pursuing me, despite the fact I didn't want that. I really was pursuing my own plans. This decision to come to Bowling Green was based off the fact that I wanted to go get a degree that was going to make me a lot of money, make me seem really smart, and really follow the things of the world and the plan I had for myself. It was really an attempt to write a blank slate for myself, get rid of everything that had happened the past couple years and all the things that God had planned for me and pursue what I wanted. That being said, I didn't really shake off that sin, right? I hadn't restored that relationship with God, and so that first semester was really rocky. Struggling academically, struggling socially, and continued to struggle mentally, to the point that over winter break in between my first and second semester, I started to consider taking my own life again. Now this time around, I recognized that I didn't really want to go through that entire process again. I didn't want to put my parents through that again, so I made the really hard decision to self-admit to a psychiatric hospital. In those 4 days, I obviously received mental health treatment, but I also really was willing to give God an opening into my life that I hadn't given Him in a long time. I was isolated from the things of the world and I tried everything else. Why not try God again? He really took that opportunity and ran with it. He reminded me in those 4 days of that sermon back in 7th grade that He wanted to have an intentionally intimate relationship with me, that He wasn't just some guy in the sky who was making rules for me. He wanted to live alongside me and have me rely on Him. Coming out of that time in the psychiatric hospital, I knew things had to change. I had a new life on my hands. I started to pray more and practice the spiritual disciplines more, but I also got more involved in community. I had known about H2O. I went to life group and Sunday services a little bit, but that spring semester, I really just took it and ran with it. I got involved in life group, and I found Christian community there. I did the well. I went on the Buffalo spring break trip and got to see, what the Lord was doing at different college campuses, and it really enabled me to further knit myself into Christian community. I became a group leader the following year, and that was just super beneficial to see how the Lord could work through me, and that combined with working in production and really finding a passion in that started to remind me of those convictions back from 7th grade, this idea that the Lord wanted to do something bigger with my life. And so spring of 2025, I was an intern for our well program, the program that had imprinted on me so strongly, and I really loved every second. I found a lot of satisfaction and a lot of passion and talent in that. And so now I'm honored to be a full-time intern with the church, helping not only with the well, but with production on Sundays and campus outreach during the week. It's just been super cool to see not only how I've been able to benefit the campus of Bowling Green and the ministry that we have here at H2O, but to continue to have people invest in me and rally with me in this common mission to find and follow Jesus together on this campus. I'm Isaac Finkbeiner, and that's my story.